Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Modern Overman. Okay, so for today's video, I got something slightly different. I wanted to do an addendum to our controller settings video back in August of 2014, and I mainly wanted to do this for the release of Update 2.4 for Hunt Showdown, which by the time you'll see this, that will be live. But I also wanted to integrate something else, which you'll probably see from the thumbnail, is that I recently got the DualSense Edge controller for the PlayStation 5, and I wanted to talk about its back button functionalities and how I think essential it is for playing Hunt on console. Now, this will certainly apply to Xbox users, but this is definitely a little bit more aimed at the niche of PlayStation users. But I think overall, it's important to highlight how important having that extra little bit of functionality is to playing the game. Now, the thing with PC players is having mouse and keyboard, you obviously just have way more options to actually play the game than you would normally on console. And console users are inherently limited by just the fact that we have way less buttons than somebody on PC would have. And so having a couple of extra buttons on the back, I feel like, is a huge improvement to the game. And specifically, what I've done, and again, like this applies to Xbox, but I know that the Xbox Elite controller has, I think, up to 4 back buttons, whereas the DualSense Edge only has 2. But what I have done here, and what I'm testing out in the shooting range, is that I have placed the R3 and L3 functions to the back buttons. And for those who don't know, those are the press in functions when you push down on the left stick and the right stick, labeled as L3 and R3 for left and right, respectively. And is what I've done is that the DualSense Edge comes with either paddles or more of a kind of a button that you can place on the back, and I've been using the paddles for quite a bit of time now, just getting used to them. And is what I've done is the sprint function is now on the left paddle, and the melee button is now on the right paddle. Now, with any sort of melee weapon, I can still use my R2 or right trigger in order to melee, but just like regular melee things, what I found while playing the game is that, especially during maybe a tense firefight, my hands tense up a little bit, and so there are times when I go to um, fire while I'm aiming down sights, and instead of firing, I will press down on that right stick because I'm gripping the controller too hard. And so having the melee button on that back right paddle is super, super nice and effective, and it helps stop those like silly little things that have definitely gotten me killed, from just bad like hand grip, where I'm pressing down and not meaning to on the right stick. And then with the sprint button on the left back paddle, in addition to auto run, then it is just again very nice. You can kind of move around without having to worry about stopping or going and sprinting again. You can just press down with your fingers rather than with your thumb, and it just saves a whole lot of mental space, in my opinion, and it's just better overall for muscle memory. So why don't we go ahead and look, and let me show you what actual settings that I've changed, so that way we can get a better look at the tweaks. Now, most of these settings that I've largely left the same, but I've made a few small tweaks, and that's because the DualSense Edge is just that much of a better controller than the standard DualSense, and it has way more functions within the menus itself of the controller in order to change. And so what I've done, I've changed a little bit of the dead zone because overall this controller feels that much better, and I've changed some of the other axes here going on because again, it just, after a little bit of time, it feels a little bit better to play. And so I've changed my sensitivities to just be just slightly higher in some areas that you'll see here on screen. And I'm not going to be showing that in this video, but there are settings within the actual controller menu itself that I've largely left defaulted, but we might update them later on. It just depends on, we've got to put in some time into the controller to just kind of see how it feels. So why don't I go ahead and just let you see these settings that I've changed here, and then afterwards, why don't we get into some gameplay to kind of test out how it feels to actually play. Chaos Bomb. Are you serious? You can't be serious, dude. A trade? Oh my god. Lumber? Really? Up top, huh? Shotgun also? Hmm. We will see who comes out on top. You know, crouching just isn't that silent. I know you have dark side boost, but like I can still hear you crouching around, dude. There's really no point. Just try and come and kill me, dude. Come on. Christ, how long did those fires last, dude? Gotta watch out for those bear traps, man. Whew, dude, that fire finally went out? Oh man, I was really getting worried there. Come on, man, we don't have all day. Should have checked dark side, dude.